In this video, we're going to be solving for simple or compound, so we're going to have a mixture. The directions: identify the formula you would need to use to solve the problem, then solve the problem. So this time we're going to actually follow through and solve what it's asking for. Now, number one, Elena deposited $5,000 into a savings account that earns 5% compound interest, compounded annually. How much was the total balance in the account after 3 years? Now, two things we need to pay attention to when we're figuring out which formulas to use. One is, what's the question? It says how much was the total balance, so that means we need to find the A. And what kind of interest is it talking about? It says compounded, so since it says compounded, we're using this formula. Now, do we just do the first formula or do we do both? Well, it says A, so we're going to use the first formula only. I'm going to go through and label my parts from the problem so it's easier for me to substitute into the formula. Well, it says deposited $5,000, the money deposited or borrowed is the P, the percent is your R, and the 3 years is your time. So I have everything labeled. Now I'm going to substitute it into the formula. Now remember, the percent needs to be in decimal form, so if it's 5% right now, we moved the decimal over 2 places and that would make it 0.05. So you can see when I substituted, I put it as 0.05. So now if you're using the graphing calculator that I sent to you, you can just go ahead and type that all in. But if you did not, I'm going to write out all my steps for those of you using a regular calculator. So for those of you using a regular calculator, remember to multiply this number out 3 times, which I have. Type that whole thing all in, and when you do that, you end up with 5,788.125, but money only goes 2 numbers after the decimal place, so that 5 right there is telling us to change this to 5,788.13 is the total account balance. Moving on to number 2. So on number 2, it says Hannah will deposit $12,000 in an account that pays 3% simple interest yearly. How much total money will be in her account after 8 years? Now the two things I pay attention to, the question says how much total money, so that's going to be A. And then also, what kind of interest is this? Simple. And I catch that percent, so I might as well go ahead and move that decimal 2 places to the left to get my decimal form. Now, which formula am I going to use? If I look, I know it's simple, so I have my simple formulas. Am I just finding the I, the interest, or do I need to find the A? Well, if I need to find the A, I do have to find the I first. So it's going to be both of these formulas for number 2. So I substituted my principal, 12,000, my R, my rate, and my time, my years. Now I multiply that all out together, and when I do that, I end up getting $2,880. And now, you know, if this was multiple choice, that would be an answer, but we need to find the A, so we're going to take this and we're going to continue on to find the A. So I substitute, well, I don't have the A. The principal was the 12,000, and now I'm going to add the interest that was just calculated of 2,880, and once I do that, I get $14,880 is the total money that Hannah has in her account. Number 3, Maria deposited $1,000 into a savings account that earns 4% compounded interest, compounded annually each year. Calculate the interest Maria will earn after 3 years. So on this question, it says calculate the interest, so it's asking for the I, and it's a compound question. But let me go through. So she deposited 1,000, so that's my P. We have the 4%, move the decimal 2 places, that's going to be 0.04, that's the rate. And then I don't see another number, but it does say 3 years, so that's your time. So be careful on that since they put it in word form. So now I got to decide which formulas am I using. I'm looking at my compound side. Am I finding the account balance, so just the A, or do I need to find the I? That question's asking for the I, so that means I have to do both of these formulas. Now when I substitute my numbers into this formula first, I end up with 1,000 times the quantity of 1 plus 0.04 to the power of 3. Now you can either type that whole thing in or on the regular calculator do as I will show you next. All right, so I got my answer, $1,124.86, but I'm going to have to then find the interest, so I'm going to have to take that number and substitute it into the I formula, which is I equals the account balance, so the 1,124.86, but this time for the compound, it's not adding the extra step, it's subtracting. So subtract the 1,000, which was the principal, and the extra interest amount is $124.86 for Maria. So having her money in the account for the 3 years, she earned an extra $124.86. Last question, number 4. Okay, so for this one, we have Brian. Brian is going to deposit $4,500 into a simple interest account that earns 3.5% every year. Determine the total amount of money Brian will have at the end of 7 years. When I go through, if you deposit, that's your P. The percent is your R, but move your decimal 2 places to the left, so that's 0.035. That's the R, and the 7 years is your time. What is this question asking? It says determine the total amount. Total amount is your A, and it's a simple interest question. So we're going to be looking at these formulas. Do we want just the I or do we want the A? If we want the A, we have to do both. Substituting my numbers in here, I have I equals 4,500 times the rate, 0.035 times 7. When I calculate that, I end up with $1,102, and it says 0.5 on the calculator, but money needs to have the 0, the second number. Okay, from here I'm going to take that interest and find my account balance, or my total amount. So A equals 4,500 plus the interest. So for simple interest, you add on the second step. So add those two together and you end up with $5,602.50. So Brian, at the end of 7 years, his money went from $4,500 to now having $5,602.50. Hope these examples help. Let me know if you have any questions.